And let's say it's 2.5 months. In 2.5 months, I lost 23 kilos. Hello everyone, I'm Letty. Welcome back to my channel. Today I bring you a video that I've honestly wanted to record for quite a while, but I could never find the right mental moment, I think, to sit here and tell you this thing that I'm going to share today, which changed my life at the time and has always been a very important part of my person and my personality and how I am. And it's my weight loss, or, well, my story with weight in general, because I'm going to start from the beginning and go all the way to today. I know it's a somewhat controversial topic for some. I'll share my experience, how I've lived it. I don't want to generalize or make anyone feel bad. That's not my intention. I also don't want to minimize others' experiences. I'm here to share how my experience has been. And I don't want to generalize that everyone feels this way, nor minimize others' experiences. I'm here to share my experience, how it affected me, and how I am today. I've had 2 growth spurts in my life. I'm just here to share how my experience has been, how I've lived it, how it has affected me, and how I am today with it. I've had like 2 growth spurts throughout my life. One was when I was very little, around 7 years old. I was already the tallest in the class at my communion. I was already the tallest among all my classmates at my communion. And at that time, since I was going through a growth spurt, my weight balanced out and I wasn't fat at all, not even close. And then it became much more noticeable when I got to high school at 12 years old. I had completely gone through my growth spurt. I was super slim, but in my mind, I saw myself as really fat. Because of course you compare yourself to the rest of the people that society has taught you to, which is really bad. But well, we've all done it, and especially when you're a teenager, you do it even more. When I was 12, I went to high school. Looking at those photos now, I wonder why I thought I was fat. I'll share some photos from that time because I don't understand how I saw myself as fat. I compared myself to classmates and friends. I thought, I don't have that body and never will. But of course, I saw myself compared to the rest of my classmates, friends, people from high school. And I would say, well, I just don't have that body at all, and I never will. At that time, I had a completely normal body for a 12-year-old girl. And so the years went by in high school. My worst moment regarding my weight was in my second year of high school, either the first or second year of high school. Because personally, in my life, I was going through a really tough time with everything related to school and personal issues. I had no motivation at all. I had stopped doing aerobics because I was in high school from 2nd to 4th year or so, taking dance classes. Urban dance mixed with aerobics, I don't know. But the thing is, I was going 3 times a week or twice a week, and I was doing quite a bit of exercise there, but I stopped. I stopped doing aerobics and going to the pool, activities I had done since childhood. I lacked motivation at school and in my personal life, spending my time from school to home doing nothing. Anxiety led me to overeat, consuming everything in sight. Eventually, I weighed 99 kilos. I wasn't motivated at school or in my personal life, doing nothing at home, and eating excessively due to anxiety. So it got to the point where I weighed 99 kilos, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, everyone was telling me, my dad would tell me, my mom would tell me, my grandparents would tell me, everyone was telling me. And in the end, it was really getting to my head because it's like, yes, I know. I see it in the mirror. You don't need to keep reminding me. I see myself in the mirror. I'm not blind. So, oh no, it's raining. No, my mom is going to kill me. She told me to fold the laundry and it's raining. The thing is, I know myself, how I look, and that my habits weren't the best, leading to feeling bad physically. I felt pressured, especially at home by my family. I'm not blaming anyone, but I knew I had to change and wasn't taking action. Physically, because there's no other way. At that time, I was really pressured about it, especially at home. My family really put a lot of pressure on me. I'm not blaming anyone or getting mad at anyone, but at home, my family really pressured me a lot. And I didn't express it to anyone. I didn't tell anyone. But I knew it, and I knew I had to change it, but I wasn't taking any steps to change it. No steps to change it. The thing is, June 2018 came around, and I had already finished my second year of high school. I had already gotten past that phase. I was going to move to Madrid. I was starting a new life. And my mom signed up with a nutritionist, not a dietitian or anything like that. A nutritionist, someone who knows about the subject. And my cousin also signed up. And my mom said to me, Letty, why don't you join us? And so the 3 of us go and we all see how we're evolving. Up until that moment, I hadn't planned anything, any kind of weight loss or absolutely anything. I was in a bit of a rough mental place and didn't have that motivation. I saw that my mom was going to sign up. I saw that my cousin was going to sign up. I went for the first time. I really liked it. So I signed up with her. And basically, the procedure was that you would go to the girl's office and she would create a weekly menu for you for every day. She would give you breakfast, a mid-morning snack, lunch, an afternoon snack, and dinner with the meals you had to eat. everything super everyday meals. I mean, salads, stews, creams, fish, chicken, meat, seafood. I mean, everything. For breakfast, you could eat cookies if you wanted, cereal if you wanted. The only thing I cut out was saturated fats, obviously in sweets and in the oil that you used. I had a maximum of 2 tablespoons of oil a day for cooking because everything was steamed, everything was grilled, everything was baked, so it was all really healthy. Basically, you didn't eat anything that would harm your body. Everything was good. And above all, she let you eat as much as you wanted. Basically, you didn't eat anything that would harm your body. Everything was good. Eat freely. Seconds at lunch? Yes. More at snack? Sure. So if you wanted to have seconds at lunch, you could have seconds. If you wanted to eat a little more at snack time, then you could. In a week, I could have one day where I could eat whatever I wanted. A rest day, so to speak. Or the cheat day, as the gym bros say. I could change the days however I wanted, the meals however I wanted. I tried zucchini spaghetti for the first time, and it's delicious. If you haven't tried them before, I highly recommend them. Look for recipes online because there are thousands. And so I started that process of going to the dietitian and following that diet. I didn't do any exercise. I would go for a walk very few times a week, maybe once or twice a week, but I didn't go every day, not by a long shot, and I didn't do any other type of exercise. I simply ate what the nutritionist told me to. And I didn't skip it, and little by little, the whole summer came to an end. I remember that summer I would go to the beach with vegetable creams and roasted vegetables and things like that, while my friends would go to the beach with their pasta salad sandwiches or something like that. But not me. I would go with my container of vegetable cream, a piece of fruit, and my second dish, which I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was roasted vegetables. And that's how I went to the beach. So, since I was following it very well, sticking to it strictly, and without realizing it, the end of summer came, and I had lost 23 kilos, if I'm not mistaken. Let's set the scene, okay? I started around mid-June or July, I don't remember exactly when I began, and I'm talking about September, which is when I went to Madrid. Let's say it's 2.5 months. In 2.5 months, I lost 23 kilos. So in 60 days, I lost 23 kilos. It's outrageous. People I tell this to are left speechless, like, but you were eating. And I was like, yes, I was eating. I ate every 2 hours, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. I had 5 meals a day, eating right, good food. I even dropped 2 pant sizes. I was a size 44 back then, and I got down to a size 40. I wasn't processing it. I'd look in the mirror and say, yes, I've lost weight, but until I see it now and compare June to September and how I continued in Madrid, I didn't realize it. I knew I lost weight, but I didn't process it. I'd look in the mirror and say, yes, I've lost weight, but until I see it now and compare June to September and how I continued in Madrid, I didn't realize it. Typically, you look in the mirror and see yourself the same. I knew I'd lost weight, but looked the same. Small changes. It's the typical thing where you look in the mirror and you see yourself the same, but you can tell that you've changed something, but not by that much. I felt better when you have a weight where you look bad, and then you lose weight. I felt better. And that made my mindset change completely. I was a completely different person. The photos I took, hey, how I looked in the photos, the clothes I bought, putting on those clothes because I used to buy a lot of things that I never wore because I didn't feel good in them. It was like everything, absolutely everything changed. Something happened and I went to Madrid. If I hadn't gone to Madrid, I would have continued with the nutritionist diet, which was a bit more relaxed. But since I went to Madrid in the residence, I didn't cook my own food. Plus the social anxiety I got from living there, that was the worst part. When I entered the residence, my mom and I told the cooks that I had to follow a certain type of diet, more or less what I was eating here, but there came a point where I didn't go down to eat. So this was a part that I haven't admitted to anyone, just to very few people in my life. But during my first year in the residence, I was mainly eating bars and sandwiches that were underneath my residence. I was eating really poorly because I didn't go down to have breakfast in the dining hall, I didn't go down for lunch, and I didn't go down for dinner. I think out of 100 meals I had in the residence, I went to 10. It created a loop that I think about now. I was having behaviors, I don't want to say it like that because I didn't have it. I mean, I don't think I had it, and I definitely wasn't diagnosed or anything, but I was showing behaviors similar to those of people with eating disorders. I didn't eat, I would spend the whole day without eating, and maybe I would have 1 or 2 bars. I would go out to eat, and I ate well, because when I was out with my friends, I would eat normally, but after living in the residence, I didn't like going down to eat. I ate anything. Everything I could have in my room was what I ate. So I maintained my weight, obviously. So I didn't gain weight or anything because out of the 5 meals I used to have, I was now eating just 2 bars a day, a piece of chocolate, and a sandwich. I didn't stick to my good diet. habits that I was having. And I turned it into not eating and eating very little and eating bad things, but I maintained my weight during that time basically because of that. I didn't associate it with that. I thought I had already lost it, and it was like, oh, okay, my body has already internalized it, and I don't have to do anything to maintain it, when in reality, I was literally starving myself. And I didn't realize it. I mean, I wasn't hungry, I wasn't in my room, and my stomach wasn't growling or anything like that. It's not okay. So the way I was maintaining my weight during that time, well, it wasn't ideal by any means. And I'm not proud of what I did there because it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I did it. I mean, I do know why I did it because of the anxiety of going down to eat in the residence with people I didn't know. I mean, I don't remember what was going through my head at that moment for me to do that. But the thing is, that happened when I moved to live on the first floor with my roommate and another guy. I ate normally. I mean, I had my 3 meals a day. And sometimes I would have a snack, but I had completely forgotten about the diet I was following here. Because in that apartment, I also tell you, I was there for 4 months. I ate well because I wasn't eating too badly, but I didn't care much. I ate a lot outside. I didn't gain too much weight from leaving the residence, and I also didn't gain weight during the quarantine. At first, I was locked up at home for a month and a half, and I tried to exercise, but I didn't lose much weight. I went to lift weights twice to work out, and that was it. But I was eating well in general during the quarantine, and then I started working. The job I had involved going back and forth all the time, and I kept that up during the quarantine. The problem came this last year because in 2021, I don't remember having very bad eating habits. It's true that in 2021, I had a period where I started exercising again, and it went pretty well for me. So I saw that my body was changing, but then summer came, and with the heat in Madrid, it's impossible to exercise. Especially last year, well, I don't know what happened in my mind. I think the anxiety of not knowing what to do this year, the lack of motivation with my degree, because, well, that's for a completely different video. I'll talk to you about my degree when I've finished everything. It's quite something. But the lack of motivation in my degree, my moment, in my personal life, well, it didn't help much either. I was starting to eat worse and worse. I've been buying chocolate cookies and chocolate croissants the whole time. A bag of chocolate croissants would last me maybe 3 days, and little by little it became more of a reality, especially these last few months. It really affected my mental health. At that time, and a little bit even now. I started to shut myself in, and I was shutting myself in with food, basically. I was having breakfast, super late eating. At breakfast time, a lot of chocolate, a lot of sweets, a lot of candies, a life. I was completely sedentary from from January to March, which was when I came here. Those were the worst months in that apartment. I was waking up super late, having breakfast, going back to bed, sitting with my computer, getting up, making lunch, eating, going back to bed, sitting with my computer, going to bed with my computer, making dinner or ordering dinner, and then going to bed and staying with my computer until 4 in the morning, and that was it, a loop. And so it is. So now that I've gained some weight again, I'm not back to the weight I was at in September, not by a long shot. I might have gained about 10 kilos or so, but of course not doing absolutely anything, like exercise or moving or anything at all, eating horribly, no mental health whatsoever, to have any kind of motivation to change anything, because I tried, but by the next day, I would just give up until I came in March. When I was here for practically a month, I came for my birthday and to stay for Holy Week and all that, and I realized that the life I was living there in Madrid wasn't getting me anywhere. I wasn't achieving anything at all, just hurting myself and also my future self, because in the end, the years go by, and they go by for everyone. I saw my life was pointless. I was hurting myself as years go by. I wasn't achieving anything at all, just hurting myself and my future self too, because in the end, the years go by and they go by for everyone. And I'm 23. I'm not saying that I have a lot of years, but then I realized that the life I was living in Madrid wasn't the one I should be living. So I realized that the life I was living in Madrid wasn't the one I should be living. And when I returned to Madrid after that trip, it's true that I noticed a change. For me. A tiny change, yes, but a change that made me get out of bed and go to the living room. Walking to places, I don't know, it kind of switched something in my mind. And well, right now, in my current moment, I'm here in Gran Canaria. I'm currently studying for exams, so I can't go out much, but it's true that I've been going out quite a bit. In Gran Canaria, it's completely different because my apartment in Madrid is about 30-something square meters. And my house in Gran Canaria is, I'm not going to say gigantic, but it's much bigger than that. So, as I was saying, in my current moment, I've gained some weight because of the months that have passed. I mostly attribute it to the anxiety and my mental health from these last few months that I'm still dragging a bit. I'm not saying that my habits right now are completely healthy. They're not healthy at all. I still treat myself to a piece of chocolate from time to time, and I'm always looking for something sweet. Little by little, I'm trying to change it. I've been doing a little bit of exercise at home these past few weeks. Yesterday was the first time I went for a walk with my parents after, I think, years. I was glad that I hadn't reached the point of having to stop because we went through a part that was really steep. I didn't think about it when I went out, but we went on a route that had quite a bit of uphill, and halfway through, I was already as red as a tomato. And on top of that, I ran into half the town, so to those who saw me, please forgive me, I was at my worst moment. I wasn't at my best moment, that's for sure. Right now, I know that I have to go to Madrid. I'm going to be in the apartment for 15 days before I leave, and I'm going to be very stressed because I'm going to have exams, I'm going to have to move, and my mind is not going to be at its best, and I know that I can't force myself. It's not my plan, but my goal is to establish a realistic and healthy routine. I will exercise more because it made me feel good. I'm not going to do it radically, like I did the other time, from one day to the next, because I know it's not going to work for me. That is, it's not going to work for me the same way it did at that time. And that, trying to do a little more exercise, because it is true that at the time when I was exercising in 2021, I already felt super good. So I want to find a routine, not just any exercise routine, but I want to find an exercise that I enjoy, where I feel comfortable and can stick with it over time. I've never been to the gym in my life because I don't like it. I think I don't like the atmosphere. I've never gone, so I don't know. Maybe one day I'll try going with some friends, or as long as I'm with someone. And, well, now let's talk about another part that's a bit more social. As I mentioned, I used to be very insecure about my body. I didn't like how I looked at all. I barely have any photos from that time, and the ones I do have are because other people took them, and you can really see the lack of self-esteem I had back then. Like I said, I was constantly receiving comments like, you need to stop eating, you're getting a bit chubby, let's see if we can slim down a bit, etc., etc. I barely have any photos from that time, and the ones I do have are because other people took them, and you can really see the lack of self-esteem I had back then. As I mentioned, I was constantly receiving comments like, you need to stop eating, you're getting a bit chubby, let's see if we can slim down a bit, and so on. However, when I lost weight, the change was radical. The weight loss was radical, and the change in how people treated me and how I felt about myself was completely radical and absurd in many ways. My self-esteem went up a lot. I don't know if it was my attitude, I don't know if it was the weight loss, I don't know what it was, but everyone around me, I'm mainly talking about guys, and the amount of messages, comments, so many people who had known me my whole life from school and everything, telling me that I looked great, that I was super pretty, that the change had been drastic. A lot of people trying to hit on me, people who have known me my whole life. And of course, at that moment, I took it as a compliment. But over time, I realized how hypocritical the society we live in is, where you can't just focus on a person. The way you look at someone really influences what that person is like. I mean, how a person is really influences how you want your relationship with that person to be. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well. I think you understand me. I went to Madrid, I made that change, and it was everyone. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. The comments from friends who were happy that I was doing better in terms of my health. Thank you very much for those kinds of comments. But what I'm talking about is mainly the people who approached me for other kinds of interest. They made it so obvious, like really obvious. So it was radical. At that moment, I didn't perceive it that way. I just thought, oh, okay, since I'm like this now, more people will approach me. It was people who had grown up with me and had never expressed that kind of interest until then. But, I mean, it was very radical. It was people who had grown up with me and had never expressed that kind of interest until that moment. I don't know, it was really crazy. And now I think about it and say it just doesn't make any sense. And unfortunately, there's a standard of a certain type of person, and that standard is what moves mountains for some people. Type of person, and that standard is what moves mountains for some people. I don't know, it was a bit of a strange change. It was a very radical change. It was literally overnight. And well, as I told you, I've gained a little weight back. I don't feel too bad about how I look right now. I often see myself editing the videos. It's not that I dislike it. I mean, it doesn't gross me out or anything, but it's like, okay, I need to change that. So to this day, I'm getting comments again like, you've gotten wider. You have to stop eating, control yourself. And it really gets on my nerves. I mean, that's it. At this point, I already respond badly to people who say that to me, like, leave me alone, it's not your life, I know, I'll change it, just let me be, because all it does is counterproductive and it's not going to lead anywhere. I mean, all it's going to do is make me angry. If you see it, keep it to yourself. It's over. So, those comments don't hurt me now, but they annoy me and put me in a really bad mood. It's not like I walk down the street and people tell me that, and I mostly get them from family members who I know do it because they're worried about my health. But now, at this point, they've seen that I changed it back then, and they've seen that I've gone through some really strange times. Wait. Let me see, what is that? Doesn't it get tiring at some point to always feel judged for how you look physically? I just can't find a place in this world where you have to judge someone for how they are. It doesn't affect you at all. And you can worry about their health. You don't have to get into their life in that sense. You don't have to keep reminding them of the same thing all the time. I don't do that to anyone in my life. I think about it now, and I don't think I've ever said any kind of comment like that to anyone because it doesn't concern me at all. Whether a person is more or less overweight in my daily life doesn't affect me at all. So it makes no sense for other people to have that conviction that telling me will change something. It's not going to change anything at all, okay? That conviction that telling me will change something, it's not going to change anything at all, okay? Saying it is only going to either hurt that person or annoy them. Their opinions for yourselves. If someone asks you and wants your opinion, then you can express it. But if no one asks them or seeks their opinion on anything at all, keep your mouth shut. You don't have to be behind someone making any kind of comments about their appearance. No. So, after recording for 45 minutes, that's been my story with weight loss. Well, as you can see and as you know, it's not linear at all. It's very much conditioned by each person's circumstances at that moment. It's not the same process for everyone. And well, I hope that someone has liked it, helped, or interested in my story. I think this is the first time I've talked about this so extensively with anyone. Well, yeah, I might have done it with someone once, but I don't know why. Lately, I feel like my YouTube channel is like my diary, my way of venting, trying to help people, or literally trying to capture my person and my story on the channel, so that watching my channel is like seeing me, my essence, and what I am. It happened to me with the video about loneliness that a lot of people told me they didn't expect me to talk about that directly in public, but I don't know why recording it and talking about it with a camera and uploading it is like to vent. I mean, it feels like I've taken an incredible weight off my shoulders. I want to use my channel this way. I want a lot of people, whether it's many or few, the people who identify with it, to know that they are not alone and that there are many people going through the same process, similar processes, or completely different processes, and none is better than the other. So that's all for today's video. I hope you liked it a lot. I know it's been a very long video. I've been uploading a lot of long videos lately, but well,